The masculine virility in this room right now is intense.
They should see our whiteboard. It's bad.
And it's weird because the rest of us three bring it down. It's like a 60-40 of gross to hot in this room.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I feel like that's a little offensive, and you probably shouldn't say things like that. Oh, are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Beacon House Podcast.
It's
I'm
still
Casey.
true. That's inappropriate. Oh, hey, I'm Spence. The cultural inappropriate person over there is Hunter.
Yeah, I'm Hunter. I think gypsy culture is beautiful. I don't know what's wrong with...
You can't say that word.
Oh, crap.
You can't say gypsy. Did we cover this? Because I called someone a dirty gypsy.
And we had to bleep it out like over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think I was talking about Django Reinhardt. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think.
Did you guys know there's a Godzilla basketball commercial? That was for the listeners. I know you guys know. Go look it up. It's
we watched it right before we started recording, and it's Charles Barkley and Godzilla, which these days are hard to tell apart. But
Charles Barkley and Godzilla?
Yeah.
Sorry, I watch that show he does with Shaq sometimes. I mean, the basketball.
Are you making fun of his old man scales?
Listen, today we have a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen,
terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's as if you put Jason Statham and David Gilmour in a blender and then brought him to life with an incredible sense of humor. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Wantland is here with us today.
And removed all the muscles.
Nonsense.
Whatever, you look great.
Nonsense.
Oh, sorry.
Nonsense. And just off camera today, taking pictures and doing some stuff, which you guys will see on our social media, Brandon Cobb is here, he was here for the Keith Wallen episode.
I mean, it honestly might be Knoxville's most handsome man.
It's possible.
It might be.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah. Like, he walks into a room, and I'm just like, the only other person that can make this better is Matt Wantland. Oh, there's Matt Wantland. Oh my God.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Yeah. The masculine virility in this room right now is intense.
They should see our whiteboard.
Super
it's bad.
intense.
And it's weird because the rest of us three bring it down. It's like a 60-40 of gross to hot in this room.
That's a fact.
I feel uncomfortable.
Matt, how are you doing today? How's it going?
I'm good.
How are things?
Things are good. Things are good.
We have lots to talk about.
Things are good as they can be right now, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. Well, how about you guys want to start with a news segment?
It's time for
music?
Beacon House News.
Yeah.
Can we not do this anymore?
Shut up. I love this. I love it when you guys do that.
I was actually enjoying that.
Thank you, Matt. Bunch of dicks. So, okay, current news. The Kansas City Chiefs will face off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl this year. This marks the first time in NFL history a quarterback, Tom Brady, has starred in 10 Super Bowls or that a team has competed for a ring in their home stadium, which is Tampa.
Is the number the same if the ball's not deflated?
I feel like that was a little bit much, but...
Are you talking about his testicles? Did he Lance Armstrong?
Zing!
Did he lose a ball?
When was the
Tom
last time
Brady.
his blood was checked? Go.
TV icon Larry King dies at age 87 after being hospitalized with COVID-19. He is estimated to have interviewed some 60,000 people in his career, and he really pissed off Jerry Seinfeld.
Well, let's be honest.
How did he piss off Seinfeld?
There's a famous clip where he's interviewing Seinfeld, and he said something like...
Canceled.
He goes, so you actually quit. You weren't canceled, right? And Seinfeld loses it. He goes, what do you mean? I was the #1 rated show on TV. Are you asking me if I got canceled? And it's really uncomfortable.
And let's be honest with,
watch
CNN really actually just weakened at Bernie Larry King for the last 10 years. He's been dead for a lot longer than
That
that.
was insensitive.
Too soon?
That was a little insensitive.
They had him on strings, moved his mouth, and they cut up everything he said in the other interviews
It
and chopped
explains
it
why all the
together.
questions in the last 10 years where the interviews were dog shit.
Ouch. So,
Damn.
not fans of Larry
Tough
King.
room here.
Moving on, Johnson & Johnson plans on producing 100 million doses of its COVID vaccine by June, and this one only requires one shot, and it can be stored at normal refrigerator temperatures.
And it's going to be delivered in baby bottles.
I think all of you need baby bottles. I'm fine with multiple shots.
Ooh, I wonder if they can make a baby oil that you
That
rub on
was
yourself.
a diabetes joke, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was.
Yeah,
Snuck that in your little tit turd.
Got it. HBO Max announces a live Harry Potter series going into production, as well as an animated Game of Thrones series entering production. Also, they released the date of the Justice League Snyder Cut, March 18th. You already knew. Okay.
Big surprise.
It's going to be great.
Moving on. Let's see. We're probably going to circle back to this. Reddit users this week banded together to buy GameStop stock and sending a crooked hedge fund into mega bankruptcy with a loss of billions. Wall Street was furious over the results, but really they just lost at their own game of screwing people over.
Last I checked, it was $70 billion. It might be
last I
more than
heard,
that
too.
because all the Redditors are holding. And it's to the point where the hedge fund guys are like, sell. And they're like, no. They're like, you'll lose money if you don't sell. And they're like, we know.
We know.
We'll lose millions of dollars, but as long as
you
you can't do it, fuck you.
Oh, man. I didn't realize it had gone to such
I
stand-up.
love that. Just the anarchy of that, just turning it around.
Oh, like Hodor is all over Reddit right now. As people like, hold the door. Hold the door.
I'm just really concerned for the next 4 years because if Biden was going to restore the soul of America, how do we have not rich people taking money from rich people already?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be
it's
restoring
called-
the soul
yeah,
of America?
that's- That's a win.
Ding, 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 ding,
Capitalism
ding.
is live and well.
Okay, on a darker note, last Sunday morning in Knoxville, a man named Robert McGuire entered Kazzy's on North Shore, shot 2 employees, both of which died, and before fleeing to a parking lot of a nearby Target, where I believe you used to work, Casey, and shot himself in the parking lot. He was a former employee of Kazzy's. And kind of on a brighter note, but sort of in the same ballpark, Thursday, a bunch of U.S. Marshals in Los Angeles apprehended a man named Landon Hank Black, who was wanted for a December shooting in Knoxville at Billiards and Brews, West Knox bar, that resulted in the death of a 30-year-old man named Brandon Lee. Thankfully, not our Brandon Lee.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So, murder. West Knox murder.
My brother responded to that one last week.
Really?
Roger? Yeah,
Yeah.
he worked that.
Yeah, it's insane.
Really rough.
Well, if by chance you guys were curious, Kazzy's has really good duck confit tater tots.
Love duck confit.
Hey, we need some light in this world. Thank you for that, Casey.
They make a pretty mean gin and tonic, too.
Yeah.
So, maybe we should go there and eat in a year.
That was a dark start.
It was a dark start. Yeah. I think I used to play bass for Dark Start.
I don't see it on the board.
That's true.
I didn't mean anything I
oh.
said about Larry King, by the way.
Anyway, Matt Wantland.
Yay!
Let's talk about you, sir. How have you been during the COVID thing? I guess just tell us what's going on, man.
Honestly, man, I'm an extremely large introvert, so this has not been terribly difficult for me at all.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's been weird. I went out. Me and Rachel went out last night, my wife, and we went to drink to have some drinks, and I felt fine seeing you guys out last week, but being around a bunch of strangers really kind of threw me off.
Yeah. What we've talked ad nauseum about cool shows we've seen since the beginning of the pandemic. You seen anything good that really, really knocked your socks off? Any good series or movies or anything?
I haven't, but I don't really dig into stuff like that too much. I did rewatch Twin Peaks at the beginning, and I drank a lot of Manhattans, and I forgot how dark that whole thing.
I'm so fucking glad you brought that up. I've been meaning to talk about this on here, and I keep missing it. Did you know? Okay, first off, are you familiar with a show called Psych? Have you ever seen this?
Never heard of it. No.
Great
Okay,
show.
you're into it. A lot of people I know are super into it. I'm kind of lukewarm about it. It's okay. It's not bad. It's funny. The main character's name is Spencer, so it gets points there.
They have an episode about Twin Peaks.
That's what I was about to talk. I didn't realize until about 2 weeks ago. I was talking about Twin Peaks with somebody at work, and they go, Psych did an entire tribute episode to Twin Peaks. And I go, what? No, that's too different. It's sort of just like a funny, weird show, and Twin Peaks is this. They go, no, they did. You go look it up. And I've got it here for anybody that's concerned. Season 5, episode 12. The show Psych becomes all Twin Peaks, and it's got a bunch of the original actors from season 1.
Interesting.
It's spectacular. If you were a fan of Twin Peaks at all, check it out. It's Psych, season 5, episode 12. And then in season 7, episode 5, they did a tribute to the movie Clue.
I'll check that out.
Even if you don't give a shit about Psych at all.
I will do that because I want more Twin Peaks, and I tried to watch the season 3.
Is it not good?
Dude,
I've
I
actually
don't
not
even know
finished
how
Twin
to-
Peaks, so
I can't even.
I don't know how to explain the third season because it happens exactly 20 years later.
Yes.
Which is amazing in and of itself. Whether it was an accident or not, I'm still not positive.
Let's
but
put it this way. Even if Mulholland Drive was easy for you to watch and seemed really obvious and dumb, this would still be hard to understand.
Well, I mean, look at the guy. I mean, when David Lynch made Twin Peaks originally, I'm sure he was way less insane than he is now. And now you have him, like, have you watched his masterclass at all?
No.
I need to watch that.
It's good, but it's odd because he comes out like he's just. If you watch movies or TV shows on your phone, you're a fucking idiot. And it's like, well, when I'm on the shitter and I'm really invested in this TV show,
like I'll get 20 minutes in.
Yeah,
here.
I can watch a TV show on my phone, bud. Like I can still understand how good it is,
dude.
I respect that about him. That's great,
man. I will tell you this. I watched that new season of Twin Peaks, and I was so confused, and I sort of just went away from it, going, well, I'll never understand that.
I was going to say, tell me if I'm off base here, because this is what got me.
Mm-hmm.
You got the original Twin Peaks, and you've got low-budget David Lynch, less ability to do computer graphic kind of things.
Super charming.
And then you get David Lynch, who is now David Lynch, big, huge David Lynch, and he has, I would imagine, some ridiculous budget, and all of the... Because some of the portals and some of the digital stuff they did was like, this is so over the top, I can't even...
Yes, or the atomic explosions. Sometimes that whole episode was in black and white. It was just like, I was like, dude,
can we sell?
They gave him too much money. I feel like,
and I feel like there's nobody around that tell David Lynch no. I feel like David Lynch only works with the producers that are afraid of him, because at some point somebody would have gone, dude, nobody's going to understand that. But they just probably went, hey man, just send us a reel here in about 6 months.
I feel like David Lynch is one of those people that. He asks for something, you say no, and he goes, what did you say to me? That's what David Lynch sounds like to me.
I'll tell you this. It's and people defend it on the internet. They go, it's art. People don't understand Lynch because they don't understand.
Art can also be bad.
Yeah, art can suck.
That's okay.
Yeah, I love art. I make a living on art, but it can suck really bad.
I'm a huge fan of that first season of Twin Peaks. I love everything about it. Even the last episode, which gets a little, like, whoa. But I'll tell you what. So, Matt, getting back to, like, you and real life. No offense. I'll have to edit all that out. There would be several things I just wanted to give you a chance to, several questions I wanted to bounce off. I think a lot of the listeners are going to at least want to know some of these things, and I'm sure you guys have got some things. Casey?
I just wanted you two to talk about Blue Cats for a little bit.
Whoa.
Because of what's going on right now.
I did see...
That picture that went around?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, there's like a picture of Blue Cats, which was the main rock club around here. Like early 2000 to like
2005 to 2010, give or take.
But apparently,
predecessor to the Valerium,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they finally are started tearing it down, which is like basically demolishing our. I don't want to say youth because we weren't fully kids, but we weren't.
It was our stomping grounds.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, like right before. That's where 10 Years was just firing on all cylinders before they got signed. That's where Keith Wallen played with Copper before he, became famous. And he originally was with Adelita's Way before Breaking Benjamin. But it all happened at that one time. I mean, it was just the nexus of Matt Ross's bands were there. Dave Dammett's bands were there. It was the hottest, in my opinion, it was the hottest the Knoxville music scene ever was. Or
you could literally just show up any Friday or Saturday not knowing what was going on, and like just everyone would. It was like the last time I remember there being any actual music scene.
Yes.
There's bands that come and go, but like a scene where like there were always like groups of multiple bands always kind of like
yes,
it'd be nice to get that
working
back.
together, which was.
I wish you could have seen it. It was phenomenal, and you didn't have to know. You didn't have to make plans. You just every Friday or Saturday you just went there.
When I went to go see 10 Years play, the funny thing is like listening to the CD in my car. It was a burn CD that someone made for me off of someone's friends, off of like yours.
But we did that back then. We'd have demos like before we like put out something to sell. We're just like, just go to Brian's room and dub like 1,000 copies and just start handing them out. Because how else? The internet was not nearly as big as it is now.
Dude, I remember being over at Brian's house.
We just go to those bigger shows and just
10 Years was right out of the fucking gate, just devastatingly good live, and you guys had so much energy. You never looked afraid like a lot of bands do for the first 2 or 3 years that they play. Like
that's weird because I am still terrified of the stage. It still takes me like 2 or 3 songs to like dude, I'm such an introvert. I don't think you really understand. Like I think for the first year of being in that band, unless the energy was just amazing, like I would spin the first 3 songs like with my back to the crowd.
It never looked like that. I remember seeing you downtown at a gig. And you were a skateboarder, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were very, very...
I was until we got signed, and I was like, oh, this is actually how I make my living, and accidentally breaking my wrist or something, trying to do something I'm mediocre at is probably not
a good idea.
Well, I remember seeing you, I think there was I want to say campus pub maybe, which doesn't exist anymore, but I remember there was a crazy crowd, and you were right on the edge of the stage, and you were playing guitar. I remember you had that Les Paul, and you were spinning around, and you sort of went off the edge of the stage, and were right back on the stage. Like, you looked like you did a skateboard move.
I have pretty good balance.
I mean, literally, I was like, oh my God, Matt fell off the stage. Wait, no, he's back up on there. Like, you came zoop, right back up on the monitor.
I managed to not, or at least mitigate most of my close to accidents with my balance somehow.
I remember thinking like, damn.
I will tell you a funny story, though. I played this show when we first started touring, and it was somewhere in, I don't want to say Kansas, somewhere irrelevant.
So Kansas.
But no, so I was trying to make this entrance, and the song was just getting big, at a national level, and I run out on this stage, because the band kind of comes out in waves, or trying to make an intro, and I run out and I plant my feet at the end of this stage. Well, at the end of the stage, there was this little carpet, and I planted my feet, and when I did, the whole carpet just I just slid right right off the front of the stage. So embarrassing.
Yeah.
Run out trying to be super cool, and you're just
oh yeah.
You're like, great, this is going to take one more extra song to get.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I mean, that's the thing. Sooner or later, you eat shit. Like, if you're you either don't take any chances and nobody wants to watch you, or you do it right and you
if you're doing it right, you're going to have some bad
Kind of makes you wonder how many times Pete Wentz hit himself in the face with his guitar as he tried to swing it around.
Oh, well, before him.
How many times did you hit yourself in the face?
I've hit myself in the face a lot of times with the guitar. I remember back in the fucking I guess late 80s, I was just a kid with a bicycle in my neighborhood, but a lot of the older guys who were in bands, they had videos of Steve Vai had been on MTV with David Lee Roth when he's spinning his guitar around both ways, front ways and back ways and all this kind of stuff. And all these guys in the neighborhood would be out in their driveway with these hot pink Charvel guitars,
just slinging them around.
And I'm on my bicycle. And I'm like, and I would see them break guitars. The straps would come off.
That's a dangerous move.
Oh yeah, straps would come off all the time, and it would crash in the driveway, and the neck would go. But there literally would be 5 or 6 guys on my block in the yard trying to spin guitars. It was that big.
I managed to learn how to do it. We did a tour with a band called Merriweather, and one of their guys that played guitar was kind of the pop punk guy that got into
the Pete Wentz.
Yeah, into more of the rock scene. But he taught me how to do it, and I was for some reason felt like I had to I had this competition with him. So I was out there with the Les Paul Custom.
Oh my God!
I'm why was I doing that?
Heaviest.
Yeah,
I will say, talking about guitar, Spencer, you do some guitar moves. You do
I don't know.
Because I remember in the music video, I didn't even mean to, but there's a point where you come up with a guitar, and in the next scene you bring it down, and it was 2 different shots, but it just ended up lining up perfectly.
You edited that video really well. No, I mean, I don't, and maybe this is how Matt feels. I don't feel like I have guitar moves. I just try to play really hard.
Yeah.
All the time, even if it's something.
You just feel it.
I used to try to have moves.
Say that. I don't go. I'm just feeling it.
I'm just fucking in the moment, dude.
You've always been, in my opinion, spectacular to watch live, and I know your big influence, at least for a long time, was David Gilmour.
Yeah, no, he had a big, because I'm not a great guitar player. I'm not fast. I'm not technical.
I disagree, but
I'm just from a technical standpoint. I never took lessons. I don't know
Sure.
scales. 99% of the time, I have no idea what key I'm even playing in.
Sure.
So having that slow thing where it's maybe I pick 5 notes, but I try to be intentional. Versus
Yes.
I'm not winning any contests.
You're very deliberate, and you've always. I've been listening to you for a long time, man. You've always been like that. But let me ask you this: I had just a few questions here. How would you say? And you've been in the game for a minute. How would you say you approach songwriting now as opposed to way back then? Because I know you're super into the process. We've talked. We've just bumped into each other places, and you'll go, dude, listen to this. And I don't know if I'm supposed to be admitting that, but I've heard some sneak previews of their stuff, and it's always just you guys are always just striking new ground and doing new things, and
Oddly, I've gotten to the point Brian's the main songwriter. I can't sit here and take credit without giving him the credit for being the sole push of 10 years. But he's so good. He's consistently forced me to be better. So really, I'm kind of in a non-spoken competition with him where oh shit, now I got to step up what I do.
Yeah.
Or come up with something I also feel I get stuck really I just get stuck in the same spot with guitar, which is why I've started getting into just like I've kind of realized I'm less of a guitar player and more of like I just like sound. If I can come up with anything that I feel like adds, or I'm just trying to push my own,
and I'll
out of my own space.
Yeah, I'm super into the guitar too, and it's so easy to get lost in just to paint yourself into a corner and just stay there.
I feel like I've been in that corner for a long time with guitar. So
Yeah, I'm real into just like the older I get, I get real into just like the sound of the guitar, just the basic sound of like the strings and the notes.
Yeah.
And it's terrible for songwriting because I could sit down with my guitar and just play one note.
But if it's the right tone, and that's the thing is I'm a sound chaser more than I'm like
Same.
Like I can't sit down with an acoustic and just like come up with a thing. I need the sound to be the catalyst for me.
Yes, and I'm the same way too. So you've got to find a way around that. But
which is usually in the form of like stupidly expensive pedals or something. You know what I mean? Like I just paid $600 for this and it does one trick that I can use for 10 seconds in this song.
Oh, yeah.
That's about it.
yeah, and that's true, man. Sometimes that's why we're so into like I know you guys listen to us talk about all this gear and stuff, but like sometimes you'll find a piece of gear and it just opens everything up. And as a musician, it's so liberating when you find that. It could be a weird little thing that just like you said, one thing, but it changes your whole afternoon. And all of a sudden, all the stuff's coming out of you and your creativity and like. It's kind of neat. Sometimes you have to get a device.
Ladies, that is the curse of it. Did you sneak a ladies in there?
Ladies, sometimes you have to get a device. Hey,
it's like the amount of money that I've spent chasing that feeling or sound, and I'm sure you know this, Spencer, is painful to think about.
yeah, indeed. Well, how about this? You have toured with tons and tons of other bands, tons of artists. You've been on the road with everybody. You've seen just about everything. Which bands or which people you've toured? You already talked about Merriweather.
Yeah.
Which other bands have you toured with that you think maybe had the most influence on your like live show or your stage performance or anything? Maybe even just your playing or were just real influential.
I always love watching the Deftones, which is just a weird. I feel like it's almost a cliche answer, but there's something so raw and off the cuff about like either they're great or they train wreck it all the way too. You know, like because it was just raw. And like I watched all these bands start playing to clicks and have samples and like kind of running tracks and stuff, and they're like, nope, like we're going in fully live monitor. They have like. You know, they already got like these 412s on each side, and they put them in the side. Their whole stage is just like a giant. It's like being in a room again. Like, and they're the only ones that really kind of still do that, which I kind of miss seeing.
Yeah. No, I get. I remember I got to see them. I've seen the Deftones a couple times. The last time I saw them was in Nashville, and it was just like it's just like he described. It's super fucking organic.
It is. It's
They're not trying to get advantages. Like they've already got a thing that they do so well. They just keep doing it. You know.
I have kind of a fun question,
up?
Or it could be completely stupid. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm a wild card.
Let's hope it's both.
Yeah. So
That'd be great.
you guys know the CDs "Pop Goes Punk" or whatever. Like punk bands do pop songs.
That's kind of like a that's what you call music kind of thing.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you
In
have
theory.
like you have. It's interesting because you have some songs like "Upon a Burning Body" did "Turn Down for What"
Yeah.
by Little John, and it was actually like weird. It's not. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's weird. But I'm interested if someone approached you all and they were like, you could pick any pop song to cover as a rock song. What would be that pop song that you would do?
That's good. I like that. I like it.
I love and hate that you asked me this question because we struggle so much trying to figure out some sort of cover to do just for fun, and it's just I don't know if I just agonize over shit like that too much or like I'm too self-important. Who knows what the fuck it is? But
What would you do, Hunter? What pop song would you cover?
Well, I actually talked to Libby about this yesterday because I was mentioning the Kiss cover that we talked about. We have one cover in our band, and then we spent like a year and a half trying to figure out another one. And
it's a tough decision, isn't it?
It is.
Because the cover you pick says something about, it's like...
It says a lot.
But I think if we're going to like really pie in the sky dream about it and just do something silly, because it'd be great, I would love to do something boneheaded like "I Kissed a Girl" by Katy Perry, or
I'm actually a big fan of that album. That particular
Sure.
Katy Perry album had a lot of cool stuff, and I thought,
but just something real like modern and super like bubblegum poppy, but then just do it with the whole Burn the City setup, the way that we do songs.
Well, since you're such a Gilmore fan, like what about?
No, don't touch those.
Oh, okay.
You can't. That's the other tricky part about covers is if you do try to do something that's genuinely or generally serious versus novelty, like it's the thin line to like you got to really make it your own and do it better, or you just shouldn't do it. And Pink Floyd's one of the ones you just shouldn't. We thought about actually doing "Comfortably Numb" on the How to Live As Ghosts album, and we're just like, dude, we probably shouldn't do this.
You guys probably would have done that better than anybody that I can think of. But
ways
you're
by
right.
journey.
Sometimes things
we just thought it was too dangerous because it's one of those things. Like, at least in our position where it's our career, like that can really screw you over if you do the wrong. You make the wrong decision at that point.
Well, I remember I'm a big fan of non-point. Even to this day, like a lot of people liked non-point for a minute, and then a lot of people quit. But I've always thought non-point was really good. But when they covered "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins, I was like, whoa, no. Don't do that. Hey, man. Don't do that.
Hollowed ground, man. Hollowed ground.
You can't. No, it can't be done, man. You can't be done.
Dude, why not?
I tell you what, Matt. One other thing we wanted to cover about, and if you don't want to talk about it, I get it, but I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't ask you to sort of revisit the story about your arm
Of my hand.
that happened recently.
Didn't you saw it?
Yeah. So.
Oh God, yeah. I forgot.
That's kind of. There's a little more to it than that.
I guess it's been almost 2 years. 2 years now. It was Memorial Weekend 2019. I was finishing putting up a piece of trim around a door in the house, and I like had this little piece to cut out there with a miter saw, and I was trying to hold it on the wrong.
And this was like
side
the
of
last
saw.
piece.
Literally last piece. Like it's just a little around the door, like a little the top piece of the door frame. But I like just miscalculated and cut the top. These three tendons in my hand, my pinky, ring finger, and middle finger, and the tendon in my wrist.
Of your left hand.
Of my left
the fretting hand.
Of my left hand, yeah. So that was not advisable.
Oh, man.
And that took about... I'm an oddly stubborn person because that was, I guess, is that May, the beginning of May, I think? And I was back on stage on the 31st of August.
That's unbelievable.
God.
And I couldn't, those three fingers, like didn't work at all. And my wrist, like it was literally just, my whole left hand was just dead weight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was
I
scary.
have pictures.
It was. I think I saw some of
cool.
them.
How did you manage that then?
What?
Like being ready by August.
I wasn't, but I did it anyways.
Dude,
it was.
I love it.
He's
was
fucking
about,
tough, man. He always has been. I knew
He's
it.
a fucking rock star.
No, I knew that a lot of people were like, man.
I'm just stubborn. Yeah, I was. No, it was like six weeks in a cast where I couldn't move it at all. So when I got it out, my entire forearm was like, but skin and bone. It's still not as big as the other one again, but it was just like months of physical therapy, just like squeezing towels.
I remember one of the first times I saw you after you had your surgery and everything, and we talked about it. And I remember you were saying
That's because I went crazy and I like redid my entire studio and spent like I sold my house downtown and I bought like $20,000 worth of studio equipment. And I needed like $700 worth of cables or something.
I remember making a lot of cables for you. He has a great signal chain at his house, by the way. But like, I remember you were talking about it and you said, yeah, man, I was just like using the saw, and then all of a sudden, like I felt wet. I remember you said that, and I was like, it was just like, holy
I just said it was instant pain. Like where you get like paper cut or something, you're like, oh shit, and like it's like a delayed reaction. It's not when a saw hits you; it's just pain.
Fuck,
it is just pain,
dude. I remember you talking about just grabbing a towel. Yeah. Trying to keep a calm head, wrapping it up, calling the wife, being like, "Hey, we probably need to go to the hospital. Some shit's going on," And like,
I was home. I was literally home alone, like, and I could feel myself like getting faint because there's a lot of blood.
Jesus.
So I was like, okay, I have to manage these two things. Like, I just need to get the call so I can get out of here because I can't drive myself.
I remember seeing like I don't know if it was an Instagram video or something like that, but I remember a couple months down the road, like seeing a video of you playing guitar. And it seemed way too early.
Honestly, it's still hard. I mean, like I can't. When we started touring, we toured at the end of January or 2019, and a little bit at the beginning of last year, maybe like a week or two. But like I have to do like 30, 40 minutes of stretches before I play. I can't eat anything particularly salty, and I have to really inhibit my alcohol because the swelling that it caused. Those. Like I don't know if you've eaten too much salt or like drank a little too much, and you can feel the swelling the next morning. Like
often,
it makes it almost
both at the same time.
Yeah, but it makes it almost impossible to play guitar. So I like really when I have to do it, like job wise, I have to like really lock my lifestyle down, which has been actually really a silver lining in that whole thing because I can be a lazy slob and drink too much and eat too much, but it's like I really had to learn how to control and listen to my body to like be able to maintain what I wanted to do.
Speaking of business and jobs, like we had a one of your companions, Mr. Chad Grenner, was here He sat right there in that chair.
That boy.
That guy.
He does a lot.
God, he does. He was here about 3 months ago?
Yeah, 2-3 months.
Give or
ago.
take, something like that. And he talked to he said some stuff, and there were some things he couldn't quite talk about yet. You guys were working on. Can you talk about those yet?
Yeah, and it's not a huge deal, but maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, Jesse Hassick, the singer of 10 Years, and I bought a building downtown. It was right next to the old Sawworks building, and we've been slowly trying to turn that with Chad and his girlfriend Erin into a creative space, like rental rooms and event rooms. So that's kind of in a process. So we're trying to get some funding figured out because last year kind of stalled that whole process where we were building stuff.
Not the best year for business.
No.
What happened last year?
So like recording rooms?
No, it'd be more like for artists, kind of like this would be monthly rental rooms by the month. Just people can go. I don't people just need space, I guess.
It's hard to find this, man.
Get out of the house.
It's really
and
hard
make
to find
comic
this.
books.
Yeah. Or like a photo studio. We got a bigger room that could be like a daily rental and stuff like that.
Weddings or you rent it for a show or whatever.
Yeah. That's been with me and Chad. We've had the, hey, can we get money for a community space? You're like, no. Are you fucking stupid right now?
Yeah.
Well, bad timing.
Well, let us know when that actually launches. Cause,
definitely.
I would love to take a look at doing that for the art stuff.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm a creature of habit. I enjoy a lot of validation.
It's okay.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah,
It's a fact.
I want to know I'm being appreciated.
Well, guys, we're getting kind of long here. We probably ought to wrap up.
Yeah, we are.
Before we do,
That was a good one.
Matt, again, this is a weird time to ask, but what's up with 10 years? There's going to be
We're working
this
on
fall shows, maybe?
Dude, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, because once everyone can play shows, all the venues are going to be overloaded with every band that hasn't been able to play it all at once. But there's problem with getting insurance for them because nobody wants to be the one that puts a bunch of people in the room unless you're in Florida because they don't give a shit down there. But we've got a couple things booked, but everything we have we kind of were setting things up a few months out and then they just get knocked down and then we set it up and then it just gets knocked down. We just keep preemptively booking shows, but I don't know that anything we have is going to actually pan out.
We know at some point, I know, I can see it now. I can see it with my own eyes. At some point, you guys are going to have a gig here in Knoxville after this is all over, and it's going to be, I can't even imagine.
The day it
how.
happens, it'll be amazing.
It's going to be legendary. So count us in, dude. We'll be there. And then I guess, man, thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Yeah.
Good luck with everything. Good luck. Let us know about the space if you and Chad and Jesse get the thing done. And thanks for fucking coming on.
Yeah, man.
Please feel free to come back anytime.
I will. You guys always do this on Sunday? Because I'm not good on Sundays.
We usually do it on Sundays, yes.
Why is that?
We're not good on Sundays either. It's 150 episodes
I
to
honestly,
prove it.
I think I've just put a mental block on myself on the weekends where I just shut my brain to half capacity. Do you know what I
Sounds
mean?
Wonderful.
Indeed. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
I feel there should be some way we end this that's funny and comical, but making Hunter sound like incredibly racist at the beginning of the episode was probably good enough.
Patriot Party.
I can see Hunter with those fucking horns on. No shirt on, just all diabetic looking.
I would wear a mask, though.
Screaming freedom.
Hey!
Scottish
comedic sound?
Scottish flag painted on his face. Freedom!